Recording, and I think we are. Okay, so hello, I am Liz, and today we are excited to talk about shape. I've got my friend Grace here, and we are going to go over some really cool things about shape and art. So we're going to look at a lot of different artworks that use shape, and then we're going to do two different art projects that use shape. We're going to make some cartoons, and we're going to do a quick painting. So it should be a lot of fun, so we're glad to be here. So I'm going to start off by showing you one of my favorite artists. Her name is Louise Nevelson. Now some of the stuff I show you, you might really love today, and some of the stuff that I show you, you might think is a little bit weird. But everyone has different things that they're really interested in or spark their creativity. Now Louise Nevelson is one artist that I really love. She loves shape. So this is one of her artworks, and she likes to collect weird pieces of junk or scraps or garbage, and then she puts them all together into a sculpture, and she'll spray paint them or paint them all the same color. So she loves different shapes. She likes to combine all of those different shapes to make a really cool sculpture. So if that's something that like sparks an interest in you, that would be something that you could do around your house to find some junk or some garbage or some scraps that maybe you've got in the garage that you could put together and paint all the same color to make like a really cool sculpture. Now another artist that really was into shape was an artist named Frank Stella. So he called all of these artworks paintings, but he would cut out different shapes and he would paint them all with different bold, crazy colors. Then he'd stack them all on top of each other, all of these different shapes that he liked, and those were his artwork. So I'm going to show you. So here's a picture of Frank Stella, and then here's some more of his artwork. Just really crazy, really fun. So it's all just different shapes that he cut out, painted on, and then put together to make these really cool looking artworks. He calls them paintings. Some people like to argue that they're sculptures. Someone else that loves shape, like Frank Stella did, is Elizabeth Murray. So she uses shapes. Her paintings are all, they're not square. They all have got these different crazy shapes, and then she paints the shapes, different shapes on top of those shapes. So that's another artist. One more artist I want to show you who had a different idea about shape. His name was Christo. And Christo liked to see the shape of objects, big objects. He would cover giant buildings in cloth. These he surrounded different islands in cloth so you could see the cool shapes that the islands made. He highlighted the shape of the islands by the hot pink. So this is another artist that just really loves shape. Now shapes are everywhere. Shapes are man-made, shapes are in nature everywhere, and a shape that we're going to use a lot as we talk through all of our classes like we did last week and today are our hands. Now your shape of your hand is a cool shape, and they're pretty easy to access. So here's a really cool petroglyph image, and this is from down in New Mexico, and these are handprints that have been put on the wall, and this is in Three Rivers in New Mexico, and these are just handprints. So it looks like they've maybe put their hand on the wall and then done something, sprayed something around them to get this really cool handprint, the shape of their hand. Now, so this is really old. So these are petroglyphs. This is really old artwork on rock. Here's a more modern artwork that's also outside. This artist also loved the shape of hands, but the hands are all around the tree, and then there's mud around where those handprints are. So that's pretty cool. Another artist using shape. Last week we used our handprints when we made these artworks, our optical illusion art, where we traced our hand, and then we just did our lines, and then we made them bump over the top of our fingers to kind of give that optical illusion, like our hands were like coming right off the paper. So we did that last week, and we talked a little bit about optical illusion art. Now, optical illusion artists, op art, they also loved shape. They loved line, but they also really loved shape. So this is an artist named Victor Vasarely, and he loved shape. So he's another op artist, but instead of painting his, These are cut out pieces of paper that he glued onto wood. So these are just glued out shapes or cut out shapes that are glued onto wood. So again, he's using shape. He's using lots of squares and circles and ovals to create this really awesome pattern. There's another artist that worked roughly about the same time as Victor did, and his name was Mondrian. He was a little bit before Victor, and he loved shape. He liked everything to be very simple, and he loved geometric shapes. He liked everything to be rigid, up and down, vertical and horizontal. He just loved shapes. So we're going to show you an easy way to make a Mondrian painting if you want to make a shape Mondrian painting. So Mondrian, you're yawning over there. We're going to make a Mondrian painting. It's very easy, and you don't need to have a lot of supplies to do it. So we're going to start by using a black piece of paper, and we're going to use some tape. Now, this morning I could only find some masking tape, and that will work just fine, but painter's tape works better. It's just I only had extra wide painter's tape. Now, I could be careful and I could cut strips of tape and I could cut it down, but I'm not going to be that precise today. I'm just going to use the masking tape, which will work just fine. What we're going to do is we're going to use the masking tape to create these black lines on our paper. So instead of using like a white canvas and trying to paint these super straight black lines on here, we're going to start with a black piece of paper, and we're going to use some masking tape, and we are going to have the tape be those black lines. Because what we're going to do is we're going to lay this tape down, and we're going to kind of maybe copy him just a little bit, and then we're going to paint over the top of the tape. And then we're going to pull that tape off, and once we pull that tape off, we're going to have nice, solid, straight black lines that we didn't have to paint on ourselves. So it's a little bit of cheating. So I've got one line. Now remember, Mondrian liked everything to be straight. Straight up and down, straight back and forth, straight across, vertical, horizontal lines. So we're going to do something a little like him. And it goes really fast because all I'm doing is just laying the tape down. I'm letting mine hang off the edge because then that's easier to pull it off when you're done. And I'm going to put, let's do maybe one over here, Grace, you think?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to have Grace start painting it for me. Now, Mondrian, he liked to keep everything very simple. He loved black and white and then primary color schemes. So the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. So everything that he painted was black, white, and red, yellow, and blue. Easy peasy. You know what? I think I need maybe one more piece of tape. What do you think, Grace?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something a little bit more interesting. Maybe let's make a little guy down here. What do you think? Is that better?
Yeah, I think that finishes it off.
That finishes it off? All right. Okay, now I'm going to turn this over to Grace. So we've got our Mondrian painting, and what's going to happen is she's going to fill up all these spaces with different color, and when she's done, we're going to rip off this tape, and when we rip off the tape, we'll have white spaces and yellow and blue and red, and then we're going to have these nice crisp black lines. So Grace, I'm going to hand this over to you, and while you get started, I'm just going to show you what we're using really quick. So she's going to start painting for me and get it all painted up. We just went, you can grab some really cheap acrylic paint at Walmart. I think this was $1.99. You don't need to get the massive ones. You can get these smaller guys for $1. So you could just grab some of these. It doesn't need to be super nice paint. Watercolors are not going to work on this dark black paper. They're just not going to show up. So if you want to do this kind of a technique, just some acrylic paints. You can buy them anywhere. Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Walmart. You can buy them pretty much anywhere. Order some on Amazon. In fact, I've ordered quite a bit on Amazon lately because you can buy bigger packs for not very much money. And we paint quite a bit. So she's just going to start. It looks like you're starting with, she's got some yellow, and she's just going to start painting in. Now she's going to paint in and just cover up all of that black paper. And the tape is going to serve as just kind of like a barrier, a wall, so the paint's not going to go through. Can I steal your painting for just 1 second? Kind of show them what you're doing. So she's just going to paint in. It looks like she's going for this whole square is yellow. So she's just going to paint inside, just like a coloring book. She's going to use the tape just like a coloring book, and she's going to just paint right inside those lines. It looks like she's starting with yellow. And you're switching out paint. You're finding the paintbrushes. You're finding a paintbrush you like the best.
Yeah, this one's the best.
Okay. All right, so while she's working, we're going to let her keep painting. I'm going to show you some other artist things and one more cool project. And then I think Grace will be done painting or getting pretty close. Now, there's another artist I really like. His name is Chuck Close. And he's done a whole bunch of different kinds of art, but usually what his subject matter is are people's faces. He really likes to do people's faces. This picture is really cool to me. These are circles that are all cut out of different values. Some are lighter, some are darker, and then they're all layered on top of each other. All these circles, he just used shapes, just circles, to create this really cool picture. I'm gonna see up closer. You can see that they're just circles all layered on top of each other. If you go back, the farther back you go, the more realistic it looks, and then the closer you get, you can see that they're all just circles layered on top of each other to get this really cool effect. Now, another way that Chuck Close used shapes is he's got paintings that are similar to this, where there are a bunch of squares. You can see the squares are set on the point, so they're more of like a diamond. And inside those squares, he paints circles and circles of color. So up close, you've got this really interesting abstract painting. And then the farther away you get, the more you can tell, oh, it's a person. And in real life, his paintings are huge. They would take up the whole wall behind me. They're giant paintings. And they're very interesting. So up close, you can see all of the shapes, because he loves the shapes. And then from far away, you can see how awesome it is, how it turns into a person. Another artist that used shapes, and in a very interesting way, this is Julian Schnabel. And this is a larger artwork. It's on wood, and all of the circles, all of the shapes that are building up this picture that he's painted on top of are plates. Some of the plates are broken and some are not, but you can see if you look up close, these are plates. Very cool, all of these plates. So he used shapes as the basis for his canvas, and then he painted his painting on top of all of those shapes to give it a really cool texture. Another artist who used shapes, again, the circle shape, over and over and over again in a painting is Seurat. This is a pretty famous painting. You might have seen it before in some of your classes at school. This painting is big in real life. It's in Chicago, and it's not quite life-size, but it's really, really big. So you can stand in front of it, and it takes up the whole wall. And when you look at it up close, it's all made out of hundreds and hundreds and thousands of tiny, tiny dots. So it's all just made out of dots. So again, there's an artist that's using the same shape over and over again to create a really cool artwork. One more artist that used shape over and over again, and I'm not sure I ever say his name right. I think it's Nek Chand, if I'm saying it correctly. This is a mosaic, and this is like life-size. This is huge, and it's in a park, and it's all of these broken pieces, mosaics, that build this wall and all of the people. So he's using all of these broken shapes to make his artwork. Very, very cool. I love this piece. Now, usually when we talk about shapes in art, we talk about shapes as the building blocks of the artwork that we're making. So a really easy way to look at shapes and in artwork is with cartoons. So we are going to take a minute and we're going to draw some cartoons, but before we get to it, I just want to show you where Grace has gotten on her Mondrian painting. So see, she's just painted in that whole entire area yellow. Good job, Grace. It looks awesome.
Thank
I love
you.
it. So, everyone, I think when they first start to do art, at least for me, and I think Grace, you've kind of been the same way, we like to draw people and we love to draw cartoons. I love to draw cartoons. So, you can draw Little Mermaid, she's a lot of fun. You can draw SpongeBob, he's my favorite because he's so easy. SpongeBob is a rectangle with rectangles and triangles and more rectangles and some big circles. He's super easy to draw. He's an easy one to look at and be like, oh, cartoons are made out of shapes. Shapes are just the building blocks because we've got rectangles, a rectangle, rectangles. We've got triangles and more rectangles. He's a good one to start with. Cartoons really are a lot of fun. I really love to draw Disney cartoons while we watch movies. This is one I was working on a little while ago. He's not done. Cartoons are really fun because you've got the simple shapes, but then you can add all of the cool shading and other stuff to them and make them look any way you want. When I'm drawing cartoons, I really love the idea of using all of those shapes and distorting them to make different kinds of facial features. Like Timon's face. Timon has a great face and you can tell when he's scared or when he's being funny. You can tell just by his facial expressions. And especially his eyebrows. His eyebrows kind of give you a sense of what's going on, besides his mouth. Villains are my favorite because they're just so expressive. So this is P.T. Flea. Or Hades. He's a lot of fun because look, you can tell he's mean, he's evil. All of the shapes they use for him are just so pointed. So the shapes can give you a different feeling and help you know, like when you're drawing cartoons, if they're going to be nice or if they're going to be mean. You can tell Hades is mean because look at all of the points and all of the sharp features that he has. Whereas if you look at Timon, he doesn't have any sharp features. He's so soft and round and fluffy. You can tell he's probably going to be like a good happy guy, kind of cuddly. And you can tell Hades, he is not a cuddly guy at all. Now, when you're drawing cartoons, it's easy to break them just down into basic shapes. Circles, squares, and triangles. That's really all you need. So, he's kind of old. He was kind of famous a long time ago, Charlie Brown. His whole character, he's just a circle. He's just one big circle with some half circles for ears, half circles for nose, circles for eyes, and part of a circle for a mouth. He's so easy. He's just circles. So we're going to draw right now for just a few minutes. We're going to draw a bunch of animals, cartoon animals that are super simple, that you can do at home, that you can practice with, that just start with the same circle that Charlie Brown has. So there's Charlie Brown. He's just a circle. We're going to do a whole bunch of different kinds of animals that you can draw yourself using just circles. Ooh, and I'm loving what Grace is doing right. She's almost got a blue square all the way done. All right, I'm going to use our board today. And I'm going to take our board, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to show you what we're going to draw. So we're going to start, move this stuff over here. And Grace, will you hand me that black dry erase marker that's by you? Thank you, good friend. All right, so easy peasy, we're gonna start and we're just gonna do animals that we can do with just circles. So we're gonna start with a pig. Pigs are super easy to draw because they're circles within circles within circles within circles. So we're gonna start, we're gonna make his body. He's gonna be a big pig, so we're gonna make a big circle. So let's make a big circle on our page. Easy peasy. So we've got a big circle right here on our page. All right, after we've got, I'm gonna kind of be in your space, Grace.
That's okay.
After we got our big circle, we're gonna do his head. This is his body, so the whole big part of the back, that's his body, big body. Now we're gonna do his head on the inside because he's looking straight at us. So we're gonna do him a head right here on the inside. So we've got him a body, we've got him a head. Now let's make his little snout. That's gonna be more of an oval shape. So far all we've been doing is doing circle, circle, oval. Let's give him his nose holes, his little nostrils. 1 nostril, 2 nostrils. We're almost there. We got to give him some eyeballs. Those are 2 more little circles. Then, it's easy. We're going to add some ears and some legs. His legs look like marshmallows. They look just like big, fluffy, square marshmallows. So we're going to add some square marshmallows to the bottom of his body. That's going to give him his legs. And then let's add in some ears. Those are going to be our triangles, the top of his head. 1 triangle, 2 triangle. And if you want to get fancy, you can give him the inside of his ears. Those little inside parts of his ears going in. And let's give him a little tail, a little curlicue off his little bum. Pig. Easy peasy. All that was just a whole group of circles, and it made a pig really easily. Now we're going to take, I'm going to look really quick. So here's a pig. He was just a circle with circles and circles. We're going to change it up a little bit, and we're going to go from a pig to a hippo. So we're going to change up the circles a little bit and put a little bit more detail and go from pig to hippo. So I'm going to erase my piggy, and we're going to move on to a hippo. Again, we're going to start with a big circle for a body. So I'm going to give him a big circle for a body. So we're going to start the exact same way. We've got our circle, body. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to draw this part. This is just like an oval. I don't know if this is called like his snout, or I don't know what that is. But that's the part of the hippo we're going to draw next, is this part right here. And it's just going to be an oval, and we're going to draw it right here in the middle of our circle. Now this is a little wacky to draw on an angle like this. So my hippo is going to look a little crazy, I'm pretty sure. So we're going to just draw. There we go. My circle's a little lumpy, my oval's a little lumpy, that's okay. I'm just going to draw that. Now we have to draw the top part of his head coming out. And that's just going to be a half circle. That's easy. So let's draw our half circle out the top of his snout. Oh, easy. Now let's give him some ears. Those are going to be some half circles on the top of his head. Easy, easy. Let's make the little inside of his ears. Again, easy. Let's make him some big nostrils sticking out the top. Now this is the only time, I think, in this guy that we're going to be using our eraser. So I'm just going to make 2 half circles coming out, one over here, and that's going to give him his big flared nostrils. Then you're just going to take your eraser and erase those lines that we drew over the top of. So that's easy. So now we've got his head all put together. Let's add him. Let's make him, mine's going to be happy. So I'm going to make mine, going to give him a little bit of a smile because he's a happy hippo. I'm going to give him some eyeballs so we can see where he's going. I'm going to give him some nostrils, some half circles right here. I'm going to give him some teeth that are sticking up. Those are just going to be some squares. Got some teeth. And then, right now he's kind of floating in space. We got to add on his feet, right? Because we've got everything else added to him. Let's add him some feet. Again, his feet are going to be like marshmallows. They're going to be like square marshmallows sticking out the bottom. There's 1. There's 2. Those are going to be his front feet. Let's add some feet in the back. Little feet in the back. And then let's get fancy maybe. Give him some toenails. Those are going to be some half circles. I don't know if you can see very well. We're just going to add some half circles down here for his toenails. And last of all, hippos have these cute little tails. There's just a line with some lines out the top. Give him a little tail. And now you've made a hippo in the exact same way that you did your pig. It's just a series of circles within circles. Circles within circles. Let's do one more circle animal for today, and then that will give you a lot of animals that you can practice drawing just with circles. Let's move these guys out of the way. Let's erase our hippo. And we'll do one of my other very favorite animals. We're gonna do a walrus. So let's just do a walrus. You can see again, we're gonna start with a circle, but this time, instead of the circles being inside the circle, we're gonna do a circle with a half circle on top and kind of like a lima bean. So let's get going. This one's easy. He looks a little bit harder. You can look at the pig and say, oh, he's just circles. This guy's a little bit trickier, but he's gonna be super easy. So we'll start again with our circle for our walrus body. So we've got our circle. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put a half circle on the top. That's gonna be his head. Let me put the cap on. Okay. Next, we're gonna give him this kind of like a lima bean shape. It's like someone took an oval and went squish. So we're just gonna squish it. So we're gonna start here, and we're gonna have to use your eraser again this time. We're gonna go here. And we just made like a squished lima bean. So now we've got his head, his droopy mustache, and we are ready to add some details to our guy. Ooh, and Grace is almost done with her Mondrian painting, so I'm excited to show you the big reveal over there. Now we've got head, droopy, mustache, body. Let's add some big teeth. I'm gonna give him kind of some pointy teeth, like some big, long triangles. Because mine's gonna be like a pointy tooth walrus. I'm gonna add a half circle over here. And I'm gonna add a half circle over here. And that's gonna give me the outside of his eyeballs. Then I'm gonna add a circle in here. I'm gonna color it in, but I'm gonna leave a little white part for his eyes. And I'm gonna do the same thing over here and leave a little white part for his eyes. All right, now he's looking at us. Let's give him some nostrils. Let's give him some crazy whiskers. These are just lines. You can give him a lot or a little, depends on how fluffy you want him to be. Give him a lot or a little bit of whiskers. And now we gotta give him his front flippers, right? You could leave him like this, but then it would look like he was just kind of floating in space. So, to give him his legs, we are going to make one line that kind of comes down in the front and another line that comes down in the front. This is gonna be for one leg, this is gonna be for two legs. Let's make a line that comes across the bottom and comes back towards our walrus, and then it kind of comes up, a line that comes up, and you got a walrus leg. Let's do it again over here. Let's make it come across the bottom, back towards itself, up, erase that in there. Now you got two walrus legs. If you want to make them so they've kind of got some rolls in them, if you want, you can do that. You got a walrus. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Again, we just used circles. Some circles and a couple lines. This one we got a little crazy. We added a triangle or two, but easy peasy. You can just see by breaking objects down into a few simple shapes, you can make cartoon creatures really easily. I like to draw monkeys. Monkeys kind of scare me. Monkeys are scary, but I like to draw monkeys. Monkeys, again, you can see we're gonna have a circle. In fact, we can draw a monkey really quick, I think. Let's draw a monkey super quick. We'll have this be our last drawing for the day. And then we're gonna check out Grace's artwork. I'm gonna show you two more cool things, and then we're gonna sign off. All right, we're gonna draw our monkey. So we're gonna start with our monkey with kind of an oval right here at the top. Oops, I had a little landslide. Okay, we're gonna do an oval here at the top. All right. Oh, are you done?
Almost.
Okay. Can I show? I'm going to interrupt what we're doing really quick before we get to Monkey, because I want to show you what Grace has been doing. So Grace has painted up all of her paper. Look how cool. I really like how you did the colors. I like that you did red at the top and at the bottom and the white.
I didn't even think of that.
Well, it's a great design. It looks really good. So we've got her painting all the way down, and you can see that she just painted inside her lines just like a coloring book. And then we're going to pull off all of the tape. So Grace, are you ready to be brave to pull off the tape? Now, it's easier to pull off the tape that's on the top first, because if you pull up the tape that's on the bottom, sometimes you got some weird stuff going on. All right, Grace is pulling off the tape, and I'm going to hold this up really quick. You can already see she's got one awesome black line that's already super nice and super straight. All right, Grace, I'm going to let you keep pulling off while we draw our monkey for a minute.
Okay.
So I did bump the table. One oval for monkey head. Now let's give him some monkey ears. We're going to do 2 big half circles coming out the side of his head. So let's do, how did I draw him before? Let's try to kind of make him like I drew him before. Those are really big ears. Looks more like a koala, but we'll go with it. Let's give him his little mouth part down here. So that's just going to be another circle down here. We are a little koala-like today. It's okay. Let's put the inside of our ears in. Let's give him a smile. It's a half circle. Let's put some eyeballs behind him. We're going to give him some big circle eyeballs. They're adorable. Let's give him some more, another ring, another circle of eyeballs on the inside. And the little white part of his eye. And then we'll color all this in. And we'll have an awesome monkey. It's hard to color in everything with a dry erase marker. All right, almost done, almost done. Are you already pulled all the tape off?
Yeah.
You're amazing. Okay, almost done with our monkey. Get his eyeball nice and colored in. Now, when I draw cartoons, this is the craziest monkey I've ever drawn. This looks a little cuckoo crazy. When I draw, I love to take and draw with a pencil first, and then I love to outline it with a Sharpie. So if your mom and dad let you use Sharpies, or you can even use a marker or a black crayon, I like to go over my lines with this one I did with a Sharpie, but go over it with something that's nice and thick and black, a marker or a crayon, and then I like to color it in. It just makes it pop out, makes it stand more, and cartoons are really known for having those black outlines. So that's like a really fun thing you can do. Yeah, so we just did 5 animals using circles. You can work and practice on doing your own animals, or you can branch out and start doing your own people. I love to do people with different expressions that are having fun, that are hanging out. I love to draw different kinds. And again, you're just going to be using this character uses just ovals. I've got ovals here, oval on her mouth. It's just breaking everything down into shapes. So you can practice drawing characters that you like how I said I like to draw SpongeBob because he's just a bunch of squares and triangles and circles. Or you can branch out and you can make up your own characters. Now, it's time for Grace's big reveal. Ta-da! Isn't that awesome? So it's an artwork that just used a black piece of paper. We just used a black piece of construction paper. You can do construction paper or cardstock. And our tape, our masking tape, and a couple bucks worth of paint. And she's got a professional Mondrian artwork with all shapes and colors. I love it. That was perfect, Grace.
Thank you.
I want to show you 2 more really cool artworks, and then we are going to sign off for the day. We have some other projects that we want to work on today, so we'll sign off. Other ways artists have used shapes. This is a bunch of different circles. Look at that. That cool watch, all of those gears. Very awesome way that an artist used one shape over and over and over again in an artwork to make it be interesting. Here's an artwork that you can walk through that uses kind of organic shapes. Organic shapes are ones that would kind of find in nature that kind of ebb and flow. Geometric shapes are ones like circles or squares or triangles. This is kind of organic shapes. And you can see the person walking right through the middle of all of these cool shapes. This is an artist named Moses Ross, and I really like how he used shape and then he broke out of the shape. So here's the shape of his painting, which, you know, traditional paintings are usually triangles or rectangles. So he took that shape and then he broke his painting outside of the shape. So he used shape and broke outside of it, which I think is really cool. I love this painting has like energy and movement. And lastly, one more shape picture. This one's a little weird and I kind of love it. It's reflections. So when you first look at it, you see these beautiful swans up at the top, and then when their reflection are elephants. And this is by an artist named Salvador Dali. Shapes are everywhere. Shapes can be really cool. They can be plays on your eyes, kind of give you like a visual trick, or they can just be used to make cool designs and cool patterns, or you can break up the shapes and use to draw all sorts of different kinds of animals or cartoons. Shapes are everywhere in art. They're really cool. Experiment, find what you like. Maybe you like the sculptures that you saw at the beginning. Maybe you like a painting. Maybe you want to draw cartoons. There's so many different things you can do with art. You can make it your own and do whatever you like. Thanks, Grace, for hanging out with me today.
You're welcome.
And for making that painting. I totally love it. We should hang it up in our room. It's the best. All right, we are going to sign off because we have some other work to do today. But thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you later. Bye.